lose affection for people and things that went before.
I guess you could call Finding Time a work of autobiographical fiction, if there was such a thing. But it is based on a group of stories that I wrote about growing up in Red Deer, Alberta, and it follows the main character, Smitty, as he returns home after a dozen years away to reunite with his best friends, Chip and Marty, and together they relive those life-changing, life-affirming events that we all seem to go through when we're growing up. Chapter 15, The Package. "I'm glad you came back," Chip says as he slides the package toward me on the table. "I'm glad you're here." Chip takes a deep breath. "It came by courier yesterday. It's for Marty. For us. For both of us." I'm looking at it. It feels light. There's definitely something rattling around inside. "You, my friend, are just wasting time," he says. "I want to see what's in that package." "I'm not wasting time. I'm marking time. There's a difference. Marking time is marching in one place, not going anywhere." And as soon as I say it, I'm swirling back and back, remembering so fast and clear it's like riding the tilt-a-whirl at the Westland Western Days Fair. "Hey, you remember the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks Marching Band? Remember Beelzebub?" "Ah, the Marching Elks," I say. My God, Chip, my ears are ringing just thinking about it.
76 trombones led the big parade.
Chapter 16. Ugly Little Man. I, as usual, was the smallest, shortest person in the place. In fact, I overheard some of the Marching Elks band directors quietly discussing whether or not I would actually be able to physically carry a real drum in a parade on account of the fact that the drum was nearly as big as I was. So I was already a bit scared about how things were going to go that day. Suddenly, this large, nasty-looking humanoid with a uniform and the shortest haircut I'd ever seen, this man who looked like a bad mix of Popeye, Hellboy, and the Incredible Hulk, rose up from the sidewalk like a deranged cobra on steroids. And the world as we knew it changed right then and there. Apparently Satan himself was too busy being evil elsewhere. So the Benevolent and Protective Elks Club, oh the irony of it all, saw fit to hire a drill sergeant from the nearby military airbase to teach us poor, unsuspecting innocent children how to march. Beelzebub suddenly screamed at us to stand at attention, a deafening, terrifying echo hitting us from all directions, scaring us so badly that I'm certain at least one of us secretly peed our pants right there in the lineup. It was probably just a nervous reaction to being just scared spitless by some alien shouting a foreign language at me. But whatever it was, I committed a certified drill sergeant immortal sin. I snickered. Just a little snort. A kind of stifled giggle. But as so often was the case for a kid like me with a short person's complex, it was exactly, colossally, the wrong thing at the wrong time. He turned like a demented gorilla creature, a beast approaching its helpless prey, moving in for the kill, and completely relishing the thought of my inevitable demise. I held my breath and tried very hard not to exist at that particular moment, but he stopped right in front of me, towering there like a monster, a strange and horrible grin on his face now. He looked down. He looked way down. And there I was, cowering in his wake. He bent way over to this little short kid with big ears and perfect hair, a kid who had accidentally snorted, his deadly eyes burning me, his horribleness smothering me until finally I couldn't stand it anymore. I looked right at him, right into the demon eyes. And that's when all hell broke loose. He screamed, "You ugly little man!" He bellowed as loud and as crazy as any maniac you can imagine. "You ugly little man!" I just stood there, staring straight at him, seeing nothing, my big ears turning bright red and burning and ringing, as they always did when I was upset. My legs feeling like rubber, my stomach churning sideways. And I wondered for a moment what he would do when I threw up all over him. But Marty saved me, thank goodness. If it hadn't been Marty, it would have been Chip. But this time it was good old Marty, who came through with an extremely risky but clever move. He coughed. Maybe it was the most heroic act ever, or maybe it was simply because he was just being a best friend. Like an attacking raptor that is suddenly distracted from its prey, Beelzebub froze in mid-bellow, blinked his slitted evil eyes in disbelief, and turned on poor Marty. He tore into that big kid like there was no tomorrow, ranting with even more vengeance than he had inflicted on yours truly. And then good old Eugene Bifford, one of those kids whose stuff always happens to, standing there with his trumpet and his plaid shirt and his flushed, pimply face for as long as he could stand it. After a while, got wobbly, and then wibbly, and then over he went, passing out, melting quietly into the ground in a heap like a pile of dirty clothes. There goes Eugene again, one of the Elks would say, and it was business as usual for the Westland Marching Elks Drum and Bugle Band. Chapter 16, Ugly Little Man.